when you announce that you're giving up the political, whatever space you want to call it, strategy space or whatever, and you've taken on this position in Bihar, there's a perception of a certain kind of neutrality, that you are equidistant from these different formations, you're crafting your own formation.
Yes.
But at the same time, there is this khabar, whatever you want to call it, sense that you haven't fully given it up, that you are helping Chandrababu Naidu, who is an NDA ally in Andhra Pradesh. And then that raises this conflict of interest or disclaimer question.
I have gone to meet Chandrababu Naidu publicly. There is no discovery. I went publicly in full public glare, met him in his house 4 or 5 months back.
December, I think it was.
Clarify,
end of last year.
because one of our common friends wanted me to help him. I told him that I have quit the space, so I cannot work for you.
Okay.
But since my erstwhile firm, IPAC, not my firm, but the firm with which I used to operate, IPAC has been working with Jagan Reddy. There was always this doubt in the minds of Chandrababu Naidu that, you're saying that you're not helping my opponent, but you are helping. So I went to meet and clarify कि sir, हमारा कोई personal angst है नहीं.
So here's what I'm trying to understand. When you make this, this is your analysis, and you're saying at the same time you don't want to get dragged into specifics. So then this is your sense based on what? You do surveys, or how do you
I do nothing.
come at this?
I do nothing.
Then?
I
This
do
is
nothing.
just a sense of...
Drawing room, I'm sit in drawing room and I'm dreaming about.
No, are you being sarcastic? I'm actually asking you a genuine question.
It's my assessment and I have put my assessment. You like it, you take it, you leave. You don't like, leave it.
Hello and welcome to this interview. We are now in the final stages of this election, and I have with me Prashant Kishor. He's been giving a spate of interviews. He's now with us. I always have this dilemma about how to introduce you, because sometimes when we use certain terms, you get, upset. But you kind of say, no, this is wrong. Like if I say you're a political strategist, you say no. If I say you're a politician, you say no.
I like that.
There's always this kind of question mark before you get started.
There's not a question mark. In India, we are quite used to of a person adopting a profession and then remaining in that profession all our lives.
Right.
In my case, I have had 10 years period. 10 years I was a UN professional.
Yes.
And 10 years, what I was doing, I call it political aid, media, and by and large for the public consumption, it has become political strategist.
Right.
2 years back, I publicly announced to people like you, through people like you on your channel, that I will stop being what was labeled as political strategist, and I want to do something else in my life. After that, for last 2.5 years, I have been roaming around, walking in the villages of Bihar in the search of what I call my quest to my quest to do something in Bihar that could fundamentally change the politics there. With that aim, I have now devoted, so you can call me in my present avatar or present time, I'm one of the founders of Jan Swaraj in Bihar.
Of Jan Swaraj in Bihar. See, the reason why this question always comes up, and you would have already seen this in the context of even this latest interview cycle you've given, that when anybody has a political take on a current situation, right? Like
the person is called political analyst. Either he's a politician or he's a political analyst.
No. Like, for example, your current take is that broadly the NDA, BJP is coming back to power, more or less with the same numbers. The question always then comes up is this a quote-unquote neutral view, or is there some kind of axe to grind? Is there a conflict of interest? And in your case, when you announce that you're giving up the political, whatever space you want to call it, strategy space or whatever, and you've taken on this position in Bihar, there's a perception of a certain kind of neutrality, that you are equidistant from these different formations, you're crafting your own formation.
Yes.
But at the same time, there is this khabar, whatever you want to call it, sense that you haven't fully given it up, that you are helping Chandrababu Naidu, who is an NDA ally in Andhra Pradesh. And then that raises this conflict of interest or disclaimer question.
I tell you, there are people who are born skepticals. My father, when I was a kid, he taught me something very important. There will always be critiques. They do nothing, they criticize. I do what I do, and I don't owe it to anybody, including your viewers. Because no amount of argument, no amount of logic or commonsensical supportive evidence is going to suffice, fully satisfy. Because some people are born to ask and doubt. They do nothing.
But it's a simple yes or no. About Chandrababu Naidu,
I'm coming to why should I answer a question that doesn't exist?
Okay.
On your platform in May 2021, I said I'm quitting the space.
In the year 2021?
Year 2021, on 2nd of May.
Okay.
Since 2nd May 2021, if any one of you, including those so-called invisible but should be taken seriously voices, if they have seen me advising, working with anyone, if anyone has seen me going to IPAC offices, the firm through which I used to, with which I used to work, if anyone has seen me strategizing, working with anybody. Now, what happens is, I'm alive, I'm not dead. So I might meet somebody.
Right.
And my ecosystem or my surroundings, my friend circle could be made up of journalists, politicians, or some businessmen or some intellectual.
No, but hold on, Prashant, can I?
Hear me out.
Okay,
you have asked the question.
Okay.
You are raising a very serious question.
Yeah.
That if I were to say, Vasu, you used to be a journalist, are you now been hired to hit BJP? How would you react to it? That no, I was a journalist and I'm a journalist. The platform has changed and that doesn't change my value system
so
of who I am.
Now can I speak? Or
No, let me complete on Chandrababu Naidu.
Okay, fine.
I have gone to meet Chandrababu Naidu publicly. There is no discovery. I went publicly in full public glare, met him in his house 4 or 5 months back.
December, I think it was.
Clarify,
end of last year.
Because one of our common friends wanted me to help him. I told him that I have quit the space, so I cannot work for you.
Okay.
But since my erstwhile firm, IPAC, not my firm, but the firm with which I used to operate, IPAC has been working with Jagan Mohan Reddy. There was always this doubt in the minds of Chandrababu Naidu that, you're saying that you're not helping my opponent, but you are helping. So I went to meet and clarify कि सर हमारा कोई personal angst है नहीं, मैंने वो काम छोड़ दिया है, अब IPAC को मैं बंद कर नहीं सकता हूँ, वो जो लड़के चला रहे हैं वो they are free to work with whoever they work with. Then I happened to be in Hyderabad for almost 10-15 days, during which time people who have worked with me, whether from IPAC or the people who are working with Chandrababu Naidu, please correct the record. Both sides, the firm called IPAC, which is working for, which has worked with YSRCP, they are all colleagues, they have been my colleague. People who are working with Chandrababu Naidu, the STC as it is called, they have been all
Showtime consultants. Person called Robin Sharma, who's an ex-IPAC person.
All those guys have also my ex-colleagues. And sometimes the people, they call, they talk, but that is it. But on record, on camera, if I am visiting, living, eating, drinking, sleeping in Bihar, how can I be doing the work
now can I respond?
In Andhra? Yes, please.
Okay. So I only asked you this because when you came, in fact, you first, I think it was on an interview to me, when you said that you're quitting.
And that time also you said, is it? Why are you saying that?
Hold on. Yes, of course. So then I took that at face value, as you would anybody को आपको कुछ बोल रहा है. Subsequently, you carried on with your Bihar travels. No, I'm saying whenever.
Did you find me working with anyone?
Hold on. Let me finish.
Subsequently, did you find me working with anyone?
So
put the full information to the public.
I'm now coming to that.
Yes.
So I'm saying that was my assumption that you are doing your Bihar thing. So this entire Andhra Pradesh thing came up how? Actually, there was some buzz chatter about it, which I heard, but I didn't take it seriously. When I went to Andhra Pradesh myself, I'd gone to interview Chandrababu Naidu. That's when people in his own team.
Did Chandrababu Naidu said that?
Just hold on, let me finish. I'm just telling you where this is coming from.
There
was a constant reference to the fact that you were Okay, let me just complete.
It's coming from your own inherent doubt and disbelief that was apparent when the first time I said that I'm quitting the space.
No, not at all.
You go and check your own footage. You would not believe it.
But of course, in that moment, you're bound to be skeptical. So first, there was a lot of kind of conversations that I heard at that time, and when I had gone there, that you were very much actively involved. And the other thing that happened, which by the way was unprovoked, is that I was interviewing one of the TDP candidates, Magunta Reddy, who's the TDP candidate from Ongole, who in his interview said that Chandrababu Naidu and Prashant Kishor approached me.
No, advised me.
Advised me. Advised me
not let
to
my son fight, I should fight.
So that gave the impression.
Let me just
So
correct
I'm
this.
saying it wasn't just in the air.
Magunta Reddy was an TDP MP. When in 2019 I advised Jagan, Magunta Reddy is one of those MPs who switched from TDP and came to YSRCP, became a YSRCP MP.
Correct.
Since then, he has been a friend.
Correct.
Someone who talks off and on.
Okay.
On various issues.
Okay.
Obviously, if you talk to me, you'll talk to me about politics. So when this time he apparently was denied or he left YSRCP, went back to TDP, apparently he wanted his son to fight.
Yes.
So he asked me that should I fight or my son fight? I want my son to fight.
So you
and
were
I said to him that to my mind, because you have switched side twice and there has been a controversy regarding your son's case and all, it is better for you to fight. That's it.
So it was informal advice.
But you guys, to your satisfaction, just to satisfy some of you, should I go and bury myself inside 10 feet down?
No, it's not to satisfy me. It is just to. When
you give me a specific thing, I am very much open to clarify.
So that's all it is.
Not the generality, but I think that way I have worked with Modi. It is in public domain. I have worked with Nitish. It is in public domain.
There were no generalities.
I have worked with Mamata Banerjee. It's in public domain.
No, there were no generalities. That's why I gave you specific instances of why this question even came up as far as I was concerned. Otherwise, they would be even asking it.
So it was a specific thing. Let me summarize it one more time.
And this whole thing was for what?
Let me summarize it one more time. You may have heard people that we take advice from Prashant Kishor, whether they are working with Jagan, Mamata Banerjee, or many other political parties, including TDP. It's because, as you know, bulk of them, more than 2/3 of them, including those who are advising Congress, they have all worked with me. So sometime, if they so choose, they can talk to me and I wouldn't shut the phone on them. Second instance, you talked about Magunta, on which I have already clarified that Magunta and I have a personal relationship, which goes beyond my professional obligation. And if he asked, under these circumstances, these are the information, what decision I should take, I would have said that please you fight because it would be easier for you to pull it off.
So the reason why all this was important to understand is because of,
you wanted to clear whether I'm coming.
I'm saying in any situation,
I heard that.
It's important to have the disclaimer, right? That suppose you're working for an NDA ally and you're predicting an NDA victory, that there shouldn't be any conflict of interest. You understand that in the interest of transparency, that's a good thing. No, that's not a bad thing.
I understand. Please go ahead.
Okay, now coming to the elections. So your thesis, broadly, if I summarize it correctly, is that the NDA, BJP is going to kind of come back with similar numbers as last time in that 300 range, right? That's what you've been saying. This is now, let's just look at the BJP for the moment. So I was interested.
I've never said NDA. I've always said BJP.
You always said BJP. So I'm interested in understanding the kind of math behind that, because there's a sense amongst those who are claiming that the BJP are going to fall is that there will be some kind of hit they'll take in the states and the regions which they swept last time or where they did well. And the growth areas where they can grow is limited. So if you take it step by step, if you look at the areas where the BJP did extremely well, which is pretty much your entire north and west, and Karnataka to some extent, where the BJP again swept in the south. Do you have a broad sense of the amount of hit they'll take in terms of a number?
I'm not amongst those who throw numbers.
Okay.
I am just telling you that in north and west, including Karnataka, as you rightly said, it's a southern states, but club it politically, it's one group.
Yes.
They are not taking material damage. There's no material damage to the numbers which BJP is going to have in these elections vis-a-vis 2019.
Material damage, no. Kahin na kahin to we'll have to. I'll tell you why it's important to quantify, because when you say they're returning with roughly the same number.
Material damage for me is more than 50 seats.
Okay.
4, 5, 10 seats doesn't matter because, and there's a reason to it.
No,
Why?
50 seats is interesting. Okay, if you can stay with 50 for a second.
Hear me out. Material damage, why I say, because in 2019, in the same region which you are saying BJP swept, you are again brushing it making a general statement. In fact, compared to 2014, in 2019, BJP lost more than 20 seats in UP and Bihar. To be precise, if my memory serves me well, almost 26 or 27 seats they lost in UP and Bihar. A general perception is that they just repeated their performance.
So you were telling me this earlier. When you said Bihar, you meant because they fought less seats.
No.
In
so
2019.
BJP number of 282 in 2014 had 30 plus number from Bihar, 73 from UP.
Correct.
It came down to 17 in Bihar and 62 in UP. That means 25 odd seats they got less from two states.
Yes.
But the overall number went up because they gained substantially in states like Bengal, where they won 18 from 2 to 18, and then in Odisha, where they went to 8 and all. So what I'm trying to, and in some other states also.
Okay, so let me.
The material damage is something. Hear me out. Where this 50 is not a number I'm obsessed with, or you should not get obsessed with.
No, I'm not getting obsessed.
50 is a number meaning substantial number which you cannot offset with the gain in other region.
Oh, acha. So to understand this correctly, you're saying that 50, if you take that as the minimum, you're saying you're not seeing a drop more than that. Are you saying that in all these states where they did very well, they may drop about 50, which brings them from 303 to about
I say even
253, and I'm coming to the growth later.
Now again, I can foresee where you are going, so let me correct.
Okay.
I am saying I would have taken their fall, whether it is 10 seat, 15 seat, 20 seat, 15 seat, I don't know.
Okay.
I would have taken their declines, which is being discussed in North and West, only seriously if it would have been more than 50, because there is no way you can compensate more than 50 seats from the remaining regions.
Right.
But this decline, to my mind, could be 20, could be 15, could be 35, depending on who you are talking to. But broadly...
But it is not going to go up to 50?
Definitely not.
Okay, so it will be in the range of something like what you're saying, 20, 25, 30.
I have no idea. I don't have the crystal ball to tell what will be the number of seats. I'm saying their loss in West and North will not be material. I have quantified material meaning 50 or more. And in East and
so
South...
it will be less than that, right.
And in East and South, BJP will gain both vote share and seats. And put together, it tells me that it is status quo or some...
Tell me a little bit about East and South though, because if you really look at East and South, Karnataka, they already maxed out. So there's very little scope for growth. So that leaves you with Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana and Andhra.
Odisha, Bengal, Assam.
So South first. You see...
No, East and South, just see in the...
You want to see it all in one block?
Yes. I don't go state by state, and I'm not wise enough to make a prediction that Barmer mein kaun jeetega or Banka mein kaun harega.
No, seat-wise, state-wise.
I would not go state-wise also. I am telling you, I give you the name of the states. Bihar, Assam, Bengal, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. This together accounts for 220 odd seats.
Right.
In these 220, BJP had less than 50. Now, I see a substantial gain.
Not Bihar though, because they're fighting the same number of seats last time, so they can't grow there.
I'm not getting to the... I'm saying
Oh, you're just creating you're saying as a region, a block.
This is how the East and South, I see these are the weaker zones for
where
BJP.
there's scope for growth.
Where they can grow. So Bihar, I never see as a bigger BJP stronghold because BJP has won only 17.
Yeah.
Bengal has not been their stronghold despite the fact that they have won only 18. Odisha, they have won 8, but that has not been their stronghold.
Sure.
Telangana, they have won 4, but that has not been their fort. So I'm saying that in the states where they have been relatively weaker in 19, in these states, BJP is likely to increase the vote share and seat vote.
So here's what I'm trying to understand. When you make this, this is your analysis, and you're saying at the same time you don't want to get dragged into specifics. So then this is your sense based on what? You do surveys or how do you
I do nothing.
Come at this?
I do nothing.
Then? This is just a sense of...
Drawing room, I'm sitting in drawing room and I'm dreaming about it.
No, are you being sarcastic? I'm actually asking you a genuine question.
No, I'm telling you that it's my assessment. Why you have come to talk to me. Because
No, I'm
what I
asking
have-
you why,
here-
meaning I'm,
so I'm-
because
I'm-
obviously
I'm
you are
answering
an
you.
important voice, so I'm just trying to understand.
I'm not an important voice. You are making me an important voice, and you are asking me, why are you important voice?
No, I'm saying how have you arrived at this? A legitimate question, right? Some people may do surveys, some people may have a political network,
It's my
whatever.
assessment, and I have put my assessment.
Okay.
You like it, you take it. You leave. You don't like, leave it.
Okay, but here's the other question I had for you, that this entire, I don't know what the term is, narrative or sense, that the BJP may actually be slipping, right? Like when the election cycle started, there was a sense that, forget 400 par, that may be a political slogan, but that the BJP had a election in the hand. It was a done deal election.
No, it was in your head.
Sorry?
If you go and watch my interviews before
I'm not
election
talking about
started-
myself. I'm
No, hear me out.
Huh.
Again, those who thought that election is in BJP's hand, go and watch my interviews in January before election started. And I said, no, it is not election in your hand.
This is not something about you or me. I'm just making a wider point, which if
No,
you
I am
allow me to
responding
finish.
to that wider thought. Those who thought that BJP
So
is a done deal.
whoever those were, whether those were right or wrong, I'm saying that that sense that the BJP was actually not in such a good position as being able to come back with roughly the similar number came, curiously enough, some believed, from the BJP itself. In other words, from the Prime Minister, when after the first phase, the entire tack shifted and he went into this extreme, almost communal mode, right? Starting with that speech in Baswara, which was, I think, fairly a few days after the first phase.
Basu,
And then let me finish. And he kind of has stuck to that throughout. Now, the general understanding is that the BJP does this when they sense trouble. For example, you know this in Bihar in 2015, you were closely involved with that election. Initial phases, BJP sensed maybe things aren't going very well. The communal messaging starts. This time was much more. I mean, you've studied the Prime Minister also, perhaps even closely and longer than I have, and it's unusual to see this pitch. So that was one indicator, to some at least, that iski koi wajah hogi. Why this?
you have answered
shift.
yourself that it was, or it probably is, the indicator in minds of some who wants to make it an indicator.
To
As
you
far
it
as
wasn't?
no, it's not. If
So then
you have
why do you
watched-
think- what's
if
your
you have-
understanding?
Coming to it. If you have watched Prime Minister as a campaigner, Mr. Narendra Modi as a campaigner, he's campaigning, but for two exceptions, which was in 2012 Gujarat election and 2014 general election, have always had these elements, what you're talking and referring as communal. The intensity, the words, the texture could be different, but this has always been there. And you have done journalism long enough, you have followed him
Of
very
course.
closely. It has, if either you are saying that this was never done before, then I need to answer. But I think the way I look at his campaign,
I'm saying that. I'm saying since he became Prime Minister,
now
I have
in
not seen
in
him
2019,
crank up 2019.
In 2019,
This kind of
you guys
language?
have completely forgotten
Remind
when
me.
he said
Yes.
in Maharashtra
Yes.
that this time vote in the name of those who have died,
yes.
clearly mentioning to bringing India-Pakistan into play.
That's very different,
No.
Prashant, from what he was doing now.
No,
Now he's saying, one second, hold on.
absolutely not.
Muslims
That's in
are
your-
infiltrators. One
that's-
second,
that's in your
Muslims are
mind.
infiltrators.
I said
Muslims are producing more
the
babies.
word-
He's never used this kind
See,
of
I'm
language
not-
since becoming Prime Minister.
I am not here to defend or justify what he's saying. I am trying to tell you, if you are trying to draw an inference about the possible electoral outcome, to my mind, those who are trying to do it are going to be disappointed.
So, no, I'm trying to understand this then.
There is no-
where do
no
do
logic.
you think, why do you think this shift in his speech and the rhetoric happened?
For the limited purpose of probably galvanizing their own supporters
Okay.
who, under their own propaganda that they are winning 400, might have been found little lethargic. They thought that anyway we are winning 400, so they must have noticed some slackening on the effort of those who are the voters, supporters, cadre of BJP. So just to maybe galvanize them, they would have
That's
used
it.
it because you know it, I know it, and much more than you and me, he knows it, that this kind of statement, rhetoric, is not going to get incremental vote. It's like just galvanizing their existing voters, cadres, and telling them that you need to come out and vote. And this has come in the context of there's so much of hoopla around the voting percentage going down. He said it after that.
Yes, after the first phase.
So if I have to draw, if I'm forced to draw or I'm being forced to comment on the why he has made this, first of all, I said it is always has been the case. But if some certain words or the texture of it is being found very different, even in that case, he would have done it just to galvanize his own cadre.
It is different. It is much more severe. It is much more extreme than anything that I've ever heard.
I think it's a very subjective assessment. Somebody could find his statement about Pulwama much more difficult to accept than what he has said.
But analysis aside, as someone who's now also entering the political space or is in the political space, are you also concerned by the use of this kind of language?
Absolutely.
Did it alarm you?
I think, forget about you and me, even his die-hard supporters would say, कि Prime Minister को ये तो नहीं बोलना चाहिए था. That's fair enough.
So, absolutely the last question. So, in this event that they are coming back and it'll be Modi 3.0, if you have any one, I don't want to put words in your mouth and say concern, but if you have a concern, what would that be? Because there are a host of people who are saying a bunch of things,
right? There will be increasing pace of the centralization of power and resource.
Right.
And the second concern, this is from the citizen's point of view, and the second concern would be, I would say there will be more possibility of more public dissent, agitation.
There will be the possibility of more, not less.
More, because the victory doesn't necessarily makes guarantees that everyone is happy with what has happened.
Right.
And history tells us, like in 1971, Indira Gandhi had a massive victory.
Sure.
And by 1973, people were on the streets.
On the streets.
Even in the case of Mr. Modi, in 2014, he won with 282, and there was only one significant public protest on record, which was on the land acquisition bill, where government had to backtrack under the public pressure. In 2019, his mandate went up in terms of numbers, but between 2019 and 24, there were at least 3 significant public protests on which government had to back out.
Sure.
One was the farm laws, farm agitation, CA/NRC, 4 years in abeyance, and also SC/ST Act, the Supreme Court ruling, and government had to come and again amend the laws. So I'm saying I see the number increasing of the voices of dissent, public agitation.
Interesting.
Could increase. And why it would? Because the rural distress, growing inequality, and the unemployment, these 3 are the real issues which no government, no matter with what number they come, in what formation they come, no government could continue to ignore as it is being ignored in last 5 or 10 years.
And you feel there's also be space for political alternatives and opposition, like, for example, of the kind you're doing? Because the other fear about this particular regime has been is that they're slowly also thwarting and kneecapping the opposition through the agencies and so on and so forth. So you feel that's a threat?
Keep trying that, but end of the day, in this country, dissent could not be steamrolled. And I'm among those. Maybe I'm a fool. I live in fool's paradise, but I think and I believe that this country's voice, people's voice, could not be steamrolled.
Right.
No matter how powerful a leader you are, no matter how many member parliament are under your as part of your government, you cannot steamroll anyone. And we have seen it. Even say Rajiv Gandhi had got more than 400 MPs.
Right.
And he tried to bring a law to control media.
Right.
He had to get it back. He has to take it back. So
okay.
time and again, in last 30 years, we have seen very powerful regimes with popular mandate winning landslide victories, were put on their knees by the people if they didn't like what was being legislated or what was being pushed down their throat. So in country where 600 million people live on less than 100 rupees a day, I think no government or no ruler should take it for granted that the support is there forever.
Okay, well, let's hope so. Prashant Kishor, thanks so much for speaking to us.
This election season, your right to choose puts you at the heart of it again.
We'd like to be your eyes and ears.
Choose the journalism and media that serves democracy and you.
Simply head on to newslaundry.com/subscription and pick up the TNMNL joint subscription of your choice today.